#1 streaming news.
Horror on the road. A New York City bus hijacked. The driver held at gunpoint during rush hour. The driver was able to get 25 passengers to safety and jump out the window before the bus crashed, sparking a fire that threatened a neighborhood. More states report that pediatric hospital beds are more than 90% capacity as 3 viruses send children to hospitals. Whit Johnson is in Houston tonight, where more than 40 children are being treated for RSV, at least 10 in the ICU. A bounce back for the American economy just before midterms. And while the GDP beat expectations by growing 2.6% in the third quarter, the other factors raising concerns that a mild recession could be on the way. New threats from Russia tonight about potentially targeting U.S. satellites. It comes as Vladimir Putin denied on camera any Russian plans to use nuclear weapons in Ukraine. What he said about possible negotiations with the United States. Watching and waiting as the fate of legal challenges to the Biden administration's student loan forgiveness plans remains murky. Millions of Americans are coming up on a deadline next week to get their applications in for a program that forgives student loans for public service workers. We spoke to the doctors, teachers, and nonprofit workers across the country facing the daunting application process, hoping for financial relief.
I reapplied and I didn't hold my breath because I'm very pessimistic. When I went on the website, it said balance owed 0. And I couldn't believe it.
Riding through the election cycle and the finish line only a few days away. I traveled to Florida to meet with Val Demings, former police chief turned congresswoman who's now hoping to flip a red seat blue in the Senate. She talks about her strengths, weaknesses, and plans if she wins in November.
Tell me how your 27 years on the streets in Orlando as a police officer, as a police chief, how that informs you as a politician.
I've seen people at their worst, and I've seen people at their best. And I have a really clear understanding of how people find themselves in the circumstances they're in the first place.
You're definitely going to want to see that. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis reporting in from Los Angeles tonight. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We begin tonight with the brazen bus hijacking in the middle of morning rush hour in New York City, and the driver who is now being hailed a hero as he prioritized his passengers' safety. The incident happened this morning in Queens. Police say a suspect armed with what appeared to be a gun got onto the bus and sat right behind the driver and then ordered him to keep driving. But the driver managed to open all the bus doors, allowing some 24 passengers to rush off before anyone was hurt. A surveillance camera then captured the bus as it traveled roughly 35 blocks with just the driver and hijacker inside. The driver then jumped out of a window as the bus slammed into a utility pole. The collision knocked out power to hundreds of customers in the area. Police were able to take the suspect into custody, and the driver is being treated tonight for minor injuries. Authorities are still trying to figure out why the suspect boarded the bus in the first place. Stephanie Ramos leads us off tonight from Queens, New York.
Tonight, a terrifying morning commute in New York City. A city bus hijacked for more than a mile before crashing in Queens.
A male is on a Q4 bus with a gun and the bus driver.
It appears that the individual stopped the bus and at some point pulled out a firearm toward the bus driver.
Police say that gun, seen here, appeared to be a BB gun. As many as 25 passengers were on the bus at the time. But when the suspect boarded, the quick-thinking driver opening all the doors, allowing everyone to immediately escape.
He did not move the bus until everyone was off that bus.
Once on the bus, the male made statements that he was being chased and directed the bus driver to continue driving.
According to police, the suspect sitting directly behind the driver. The bus, captured here on surveillance video, traveling for more than 30 blocks. The driver then jumping out of the window. Police say it appears the suspect took control of the bus before it crashed into a utility pole shortly thereafter.
We heard an explosion in front of the school, so we panicked. Fire, black smoke, and everyone came out.
Hundreds of customers losing power. This video showing the moment police took the suspect into custody.
Stephanie Ramos joins us now from Queens. Steph, what's the latest on the investigation into what happened?
Well, Lindsay, this is where the crash happened. Police are still blocking the street, but we have just learned the police have identified the suspect as 44-year-old Dwayne Gaddy. He lives just a few blocks away from here. Police say he is facing several charges, including reckless endangerment. As for the bus driver, police say he suffered only minor injuries, and they are crediting him with saving all of those passengers. Lindsay.
Yeah, such a scary story there. Stephanie, our thanks to you. Admissions at children's hospitals are surging across the country. The American Academy of Pediatrics is calling it a perfect storm of viruses that are taking hold. 3/4 of the nation's pediatric hospital beds are full. 9 states and Washington, D.C. are already above 80% capacity. Another 5 states above 90%, including Texas. More than 40 children are hospitalized with the virus RSV at Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, and that's where our Whit Johnson is tonight.
Inside Texas Children's in Houston, the country's largest pediatric hospital, tonight doctors are grappling with a surge in patients as the virus season makes an early impact.
What worries me is the fact that we're seeing flu increase. That's my biggest worry right now. We have a lot of kids admitted right now with RSV. That's our concern, is what does that look like 2 weeks down, a week down the road?
More than 40 children are hospitalized here with the virus RSV, at least 10 in the ICU. Baby Lily, just 5 weeks old, is now on oxygen for a 3rd day.
You know, you feel so helpless. You don't really know how to help them.
Her mother, Rebecca Lara, says the whole family got sick last week, all 5 kids and the parents. But Lily was struggling with RSV and quickly getting worse.
It was kind of like a choking cough, so she was going in and out of breathing, and
that must have been so terrifying.
It was, you know, because you can't really do anything. It was so bad, I said, call the ambulance.
Texas is among 5 states where pediatric hospital beds are topping 90% capacity. Another 9 states are above 80%, the highest levels seen in 2 years, as a wave of respiratory viruses hits children hard.
It's really kind of a perfect storm of all of these germs coming together at once instead of their normal, organized, seasonal pattern.
A growing number of hospitals warning of the strain. The ER at Seattle Children's running at 200% capacity. And some kids are getting infected with more than one virus. In Ohio, Wilder Jackson was hit with the flu, then 3 other respiratory viruses, landing him in the hospital for 4 days.
The fever spiked to 105, and he started actually hallucinating. He would look at like spots on the ceiling and just start freaking out and crying.
Wilder was able to get the last open bed at Dayton Children's Hospital.
The scarcity of these beds of such concern. Whit Johnson joins us now from Texas Children's Hospital. Whit, the American Academy of Pediatrics did release specific warning signs, but what are you hearing directly from parents?
Well, Lindsay, parents say that this can all happen so quickly, and there's a fine line here. They say it's difficult to know when common cold symptoms turn into an emergency. But experts insist it's important to call your doctor if you notice these warning signs: fast or short breathing, if your child is making grunting sounds, or if their skin color starts changing due to a lack of oxygen. Lindsay?
All right, some potentially life-saving advice there. Whit Johnson, our thanks to you. Now to the midterm elections. We are just 12 days away until Election Day. And tonight in Arizona, there are new images of alleged voter intimidation by groups in camouflage watching voters turning in their ballots. What's behind this? ABC's chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl has the very latest.
Election officials in Arizona are asking the Department of Justice to investigate multiple incidents of alleged voter intimidation, including this: individuals with military-style tactical equipment watching and photographing people as they drop their ballots off at ballot drop boxes. The Secretary of State, who is also the Democratic candidate for governor, says this kind of thing is happening more and more.
We've certainly seen an uptick, and we're continuing to report any incidents that we are aware of to the Attorney General and the Department of Justice.
Not all the people hovering around drop boxes are wearing military gear. They've been encouraged to do it by prominent Trump supporters like Steve Bannon.
They don't like the way some people are dressed. They don't like them in camis. They don't like them, in Arizona law, you can have the open carry. They don't like that.
The top Republican official in Arizona's largest county recently told me he's deeply concerned about the taunting of voters and election officials.
We had people taking pictures of our elections workers. Yesterday, people taking pictures of folks going to the drop boxes to drop off their envelopes.
Why are they doing it?
They're doing it to intimidate people.
It all comes as Republican candidate for governor Kari Lake has repeatedly raised questions about whether the vote will be fair.
You have not said that you will accept the certified results of this election even if you lose. Election.
I will accept the results of this election if we have a fair, honest, and transparent election. Absolutely 100%.
But if you were to lose and you went out and you had all your appeals, they went through.
As long as it's fair, honest, and transparent.
Local law enforcement officials are finding it necessary to assure voters that it is safe to cast their ballots.
Every day I'm dedicating a considerable amount of resources just to give people confidence that they can cast a vote safely, and that is absurd.
Unusual times for sure. Jonathan Karl joins us now. John, mail-in ballots are the primary way that voters cast their ballots these days. So this sort of alleged intimidation must be a big concern.
Absolutely. I mean, almost all Arizonans, including Republicans, the vast majority of Republicans vote with those mail-in ballots. In the primary back in August, it was about 85% using those mail-in ballots. Many of those people dropping them off at drop boxes, just like you saw. In the presidential election in 2020, it was 91% of Arizonans, 91% voting with those mail-in ballots.
Quite a considerable number there. And John, an interesting moment on the tarmac today between President Biden and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer talking about the Pennsylvania Senate race. Tell us about what we saw there.
It's fascinating. We were able to go back and listen to the tape. It's kind of a hot mic moment. You can hear Chuck Schumer basically briefing President Biden on some of the latest developments in the Senate races. Biden is looking very eagerly as he gets the update. And one of the things that we could discern listening to the tape, Schumer tells Biden that it doesn't look like the debate hurt them very much in Pennsylvania. Says that's a good sign. But then he says, expresses some concern about Georgia and makes a spiraling down motion when he talks about Georgia. And the quote that we can hear him saying is, "I can't believe they would go for Herschel Walker." So apparently, based on what, again, this is just a fragment of the conversation, based on what we could hear, you see Senator Schumer basically saying things are looking perhaps up a little bit in Pennsylvania, but down a bit in Georgia for the Democrats.
Quite a fly on the wall moment there. John Karl, our thanks to you.
Thanks.
Tonight, a January 6th rioter was convicted of attacking an officer and then dragging him into an angry crowd. He has been sentenced to more than 7.5 years in prison. ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas has those details.
Today in court, former D.C. police officer Michael Fanone recalling the moment he thought he was going to die. It was all caught on video in one of the most infamous pieces of footage from January 6th. Fanone's police body camera showing the crazed mob swarming him, dragging him, and beating him. Telling me in the days just afterward,
they were stripping my gear off of my vest, stripped my badge off, my radio. At one point, people started chanting, kill him with his own gun.
Today, the man who dragged Fanone into the mob, Albuquerque Head, was in court to face sentencing. Listen to the moment of their encounter that day. Head saying,
"I'm gonna try to help you out here. You hear me?"
Fanone replies.
"Thank you."
But seconds later, Head is calling out to the violent mob.
"Hey, I got one."
Today, Fanone told the judge, "No mercy. Your Honor, I would ask you to show Mr. Head the same mercy he showed me on January 6th, which, in case there's any question in this courtroom, is none." The judge apparently took heed, sentencing Head to 7.5 years in prison, one of the harshest penalties yet for crimes during the insurrection, almost matching the 8 years the Justice Department had requested.
Pierre Thomas joins us now. Pierre, where do things stand when it comes to January 6th arrests and convictions?
Lindsay, nearly 900 people have been arrested so far in connection with January 6th. Roughly 450 suspects have been convicted. But Lindsay, the FBI is still looking for more than 360 people who committed violence that day.
Well, still a lot of people outstanding there. Pierre Thomas, our thanks to you.
Pleasure.
We turn now to the economy, and a new report that shows the U.S. economy grew at an annual rate of 2.6% in the third quarter. That's better than expected and comes after 2 quarters of shrinking growth. For more on what that means for American consumers, let's bring in Gregory Dacko, chief economist at EY Parthenon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So this report shows revived GDP growth, and we're continuing to see fairly strong employment numbers in recent months. So does that put to rest the idea that the economy has been in a recession?
Well, I think those of us that look closely at the economy understood that the U.S. economy was not in a recession in the first half of the year because employment growth was still quite strong and businesses were still investing and consumers were still spending. I think what we witnessed in the third quarter was a rebound after contractions in GDP in the first half of the year, indicating that the economy is still moving forward. But if you look underneath the hood, you'll see that domestic demand is cooling at quite a rapid pace. Consumer spending is easing, residential investment contracted very sharply, and those are all indicators of an impending recession in the U.S. economy, which I think is likely to start around the year end or perhaps in early 2023.
So I know you just gave us some indicators. Looking closely at today's report and where the economy saw growth, where do you see more specifically positive signs?
Well, I think we're seeing some encouraging signs in the fact that we're not seeing a massive retrenchment in private sector activity. What we are seeing is increased caution on the part of businesses and on the part of consumers in an environment where inflation continues to restrain private sector activity and where increasingly interest rates are a burden on spending.
Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve is expected to raise interest rates next week by another 0.75%. How will that impact growth?
Well, I think what we are seeing is the Fed is intent on taming inflation. That's its primary objective, and it will continue to tighten monetary policy with determination so long as inflation does not come down in a convincing manner. So I think for next week, we should be on the lookout for a 75 basis point rate hike. But I think there will be some increased signal that the Fed is intent on tapering the pace of its tightening of monetary policy. That will likely mean another 50 basis points in December and perhaps another 25 in early 2023.
Is there any concern about the Fed's hitting the brakes too hard?
That is the key concern right now. The Fed has rarely managed a soft landing of the economy. So there are big questions as to whether it will manage that soft landing where inflation slows, but economic activity does not put us into a recession. I think the odds of the U.S. economy avoiding a recession are now quite low.
And we're already seeing the impact of the Fed's actions on the housing market, where today the 30-year fixed rate mortgage hit more than 7% for the first time in 20 years. And I want to put a graphic up on what that means for those who are looking to buy a house. At the current rate, the monthly payment on a $300,000 mortgage is $2,012. But at the start of the year before the Fed's interest rate hikes, the monthly payment would have been $1,301. So we're talking about a $700 monthly difference. Just talk about the impact that that has on the economy and consumer behavior as the Fed moves to keep raising rates.
Yeah, I mean, what we're seeing in the housing sector is certainly having a broader impact on the broader economy. Housing activity generally is an indicator that portends to slower or faster consumer spending activity around housing. And what we're seeing right now is a pretty significant correction. Now, fortunately for the U.S. economy and for many households across the country, they were able to lock in lower rates a year ago. So that is going to help buffer the negative impact that we're seeing in terms of this fallback in home sales.
And just to make sure I have this right, so in a nutshell, we're saying basically expect a recession. We haven't been in one, but we'll get to one in 2023, and interest rates are just going to continue to go up.
Yes, I think we're going to be in an environment where we see persistently high inflation, elevated interest rates, and a high likelihood of a recession in the U.S. But I don't necessarily expect to see a massive retrenchment in private sector activity.
Greg Dacko, chief economist at EY Parthenon, we thank you so much for your time and insight.
Thank you.
Turning now to Ukraine, where Ukrainian forces continue their advance on Russian-held areas as Russian President Vladimir Putin had some sharp rhetoric in a marathon speech threatening potential attacks on U.S. satellites. ABC's Tom Sufi Burridge is in Kyiv with the latest for us.
As the battle rages in Ukraine, Vladimir Putin tonight blasting the West and warning of the most dangerous and unpredictable decade since the end of World War II. And after weeks of making nuclear threats, tonight Putin denying he would conduct a nuclear attack, saying there is no need. But Putin repeating his baseless claim that Ukraine is preparing to detonate a dirty bomb containing radioactive material on its own territory. Western officials fear Russia could then launch its own attack and blame Ukraine. Defense Secretary Austin today saying the US has no intelligence Russia is planning to detonate a dirty bomb, but adding,
Russian aggression does pose an immediate and sharp threat to our interests and values.
And today, for the first time, Russia threatening to strike American satellites in space if the US becomes more heavily involved in Ukraine. The White House warning it would respond in an appropriate way.
Tom Sufi-Burridge joins us now from Kyiv. Certainly strong words from Russia today. What was the response from the U.S.?
Yeah, Lindsay, tonight the White House saying it will pursue all means to deter and hold Russia accountable if it targets US satellites which have been used to help Ukraine in this war. Lindsay?
Tom, thank you. And when we come back, a ride goes wrong at an amusement park. What happened when a train derailed? Plus, the race to November. Congresswoman Val Demings takes us on a bike ride in Florida, from police chief to congresswoman to Senate hopeful. How this Democrat is now strategizing to win in a place that's starting to look less like a swing state. But first, the fate of the Biden administration's student loan forgiveness plan is still in flux, why millions of Americans say they are still filling out application in the hopes of getting some kind of relief. This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
in Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
Here at the White House.
Destructive
Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5. Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go. We made it.
ABC News Live. America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7. Straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Bring them on.
If only there was a place in the morning to start my day. With a smile, somewhere to help me get in the know. A place as spectacular as, well, me.
I think we might know a place, right, guys?
Bring your friends. Oh, wait, there is.
Good morning, America.
GMA, 7A, every day. Boom, boom, boom.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Robin. Good morning, America. How are you?
Boom. Now that's how you start your day, people.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
How cute.
Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 12 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Elizabeth Holmes found guilty on 4 counts of fraud, facing the possibility of decades in prison. Now we take you inside the courtroom and behind the scenes. The Dropout, Elizabeth Holmes on Trial. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
So, what's good to read? And we mean really good to read right now. Well, that's where Charlie and Kate Gibson can help.
Join us for the new podcast series. It is called The Bookcase with Kate and Charlie.
We will make sure you love what you read.
Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
With so much happening these days, it's hard to keep up.
Things change hour by hour, minute by minute.
The historic weather that's now unfolding.
The worries on Wall Street.
We're bringing you the Right Now. Been a nationwide teacher shortage.
The Right Now look at the day ahead. An alert this morning for dog owners and the key takeaways from the biggest stories.
World News Now and America This Morning, America's #1 early morning news.
Today does feel a little different. Early mornings on ABC News Live.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
As of today, in a big way, we have inaugurated abcnews.com.
A lot has changed in our world since Peter made that announcement. But what hasn't changed is the commitment to groundbreaking reporting and innovation at abcnews.com. And here's to everything ahead.
Fun quickly shifted to fear at an amusement park in Branson, Missouri, where 3 cars of a train ride rolled onto their sides today. This happened at Silver Dollar City Theme Park. Investigators say 6 guests and a park employee suffered minor injuries. The cause of the accident is under investigation. Tonight, we take a look at the battle for student loan forgiveness. The Biden administration's plan remains in legal limbo, but millions of Americans are coming up on a deadline next week in order to get their applications in for a program that forgives student loans for public service workers. This week, the Education Department announced plans to try to make permanent fixes to the program. ABC's Karen Travers spoke with some of the doctors, teachers, and nonprofit workers across the country trying to navigate this application process in the hopes of getting some financial relief.
Megan Hollis is a primary care doctor at a community health center in Washington, D.C.
The big reason that I chose to come and work here was just the values and the mission-driven nature of what we do.
A graduate of Georgetown University and its medical school, by the time she started her residency, Hollis had racked up an incredible amount of student debt.
It's hundreds of thousands, yeah. Yep.
Facing a daunting repayment journey, Hollis learned about a federal program called Public Service Loan Forgiveness, or PSLF.
The only way for me personally I was able to even consider a job in community health was because of the Public Service Loan Forgiveness program.
PSLF allows people who work in public sector jobs, such as government employees, nonprofit workers, and teachers, to apply to have their federal loans forgiven after 10 years of consistent payments. Estimates show that over 9 million Americans could be eligible for student loan forgiveness under this program. But due to a very complicated process, it's been nearly impossible to get loan forgiveness through the program. A 2018 government accountability report found that out of more than 19,000 people who applied for forgiveness, only 55 were granted it. The Biden administration moved to fix that, implementing a waiver in 2021 to loosen some eligibility requirements.
Since I've been in office, more than 175,000 teachers, nurses, police officers have been able to get over $10 billion in loan forgiveness so far through this program.
It wasn't until this waiver was put in place that Twyla Carter, attorney-in-chief at the Legal Aid Society in New York, was eligible for federal loan forgiveness. But Carter still described a tricky process to finally get the relief she was entitled to.
You don't hear anything, and then you do. And, if your forms are wrong or if something's missing along the way, you don't know about it until months later, et cetera. So it's a really stressful process.
The Biden administration has touted the success of the waiver, but it's set to expire on October 31st. The Education Department announcing this week it will move to extend a number of benefits for some eligible borrowers. We spoke to people across the country who have applied for relief under this program to hear how it impacted their careers and financial decisions. For many workers, it means finally being able to buy a house or put money away for their kids' own college education, or just get a little bit of financial breathing room. Christy Saucedo has worked in education for more than 20 years. A special education teacher, Saucedo has applied for debt forgiveness in the past, but it wasn't until the Biden waiver was put in place that she saw a zero balance on her student loans.
I reapplied and I didn't hold my breath because I'm very pessimistic. When I went on the website, it said balance owed zero, and I couldn't believe it.
English as a second language teacher Andrew Reed has also worked in public schools for more than 2 decades. He now works 2 jobs so he can put extra money in his son's college fund while also making his monthly student loan payments.
My wife and I are going to be paying make these loan payments well and after we retire. And that's just the reality of the situation.
His PSLF application is in limbo.
They sell it as a really basic, broad, simple plan. And it's almost like after they say it, they go back and they say, okay, let's draw up all the exclusions we can to try to exclude as many people as we can.
And with the clock ticking to that waiver deadline, Megan Hollis is now dealing with an unexpected twist. A notice in the mail stating that she was ineligible for the program.
I paid my minimum payment so that, as much as possible can be forgiven. But that's meant that with interest, I've actually as of today, owe more than I did when I left medical school.
But Hollis is disputing the rejection, saying she's confident she is eligible and still hoping to see a zero balance on her federal student loan payments. And if that moment happens...
Tears, lots of champagne and cheers.
Lots of champagne all around. We can imagine. Our thanks to Karen for that. Still ahead here on Prime. More than 90% of us will vote using a paper ballot, but supply chain issues have some experts concerned. We take a look at why. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and now LeBron James, all future first ballot Hall of Famers, all now struggling. We take a look at getting older in the public eye and these aging superstars by the numbers. But first, our tweet of the day. Elon Musk lays out the reasons why he says he is buying Twitter. He has until tomorrow to make the deal complete.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
Admit it, these days, what you need to know
seems to change just about every day.
What is it that you really want to know, need to know?
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it. Feel smarter.
Feel better.
Feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
It's all about you.
With so much at stake in our world right now, we wanted to thank you for your trust and for making ABC News America's #1 news.
And thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Brace for the impact. President Biden, where the fuck are you at? The impact.
I made an honest mistake.
You couldn't write this stuff.
Of that.
You know, I think this has never been done on Hulu before.
I'm excited.
New episodes drop every Thursday. This is Impact by Nightline.
Zoo.
200.
Oh, 200.
200 episodes of Dr. Pol. Music to my ears.
It's been 10 years, and I'm still having fun.
That rocks. He's got the moves that make your animals groove.
Now we do the dance of joy.
Yay. He's like the Justin Bieber of the
Headlining the hottest barns.
Shout out.
It's a show you won't want to miss.
I'm not going to be here forever. Maybe.
The Incredible Dr. Pol. New episodes Saturdays at 9 on Nat Geo Wild.
This is ABC News Live Prime.
Thanks so much for streaming with us.
Live reporting, breaking news, exclusives, award-winning, powerful, eye-opening. ABC News Live Prime with Lindsay Davis, streaming weeknights. So, what's good to read? And we mean really good to read right now. Well, that's where Charlie and Kate Gibson can help.
Join us for the new podcast series. It is called The Bookcase with Kate and Charlie.
We will make sure you love what you read.
Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back, everyone. Once upon a time, not long ago, professional athletes were bidding their farewells by their mid-30s. Now, across the board, ageist icons are stretching the boundaries. But how long can our favorite athletes stay on top? We're taking a look at the age of the aging sports superstars by the numbers. At 37 years old, LeBron James is now in his 20th season, which makes the Lakers' winless start to the season all the more painful to witness. It's his team's worst start since James's rookie season. Aaron Rodgers is 38, but fresh off his second consecutive NFL Most Valuable Player award. Then again, 3 Packer losses in a row have some wondering if his clock is running out. And then there's 45-year-old Tom Brady, currently chasing after his 8th Super Bowl. But after the Bucs' resounding loss to the Carolina Panthers, who have only won 2 games so far this season, Brady's chances for a ring for every finger may be feeling a bit slimmer. Across the pond, 37-year-old soccer megastar Cristiano Ronaldo seems to be facing bench warmer status as Manchester United forges ahead with a younger roster full of newer moves. Meanwhile, at 41, Serena Williams is now tantalizing us all with talk of an Act 2, just weeks after saying that she was evolving away from tennis. Only time will tell if the clock is truly running out for these sports legends or if there are any midlife rebounds in their futures. And we still have lots to get to here on Prime tonight. The latest supply chain victim, paper ballots, how the shortage exposes a key vulnerability before Election Day. Riding into November, I traveled to Florida for a bike ride with Senate hopeful Val Demings, who shares how she went from top cop to congresswoman as she tries to flip a red seat blue on Election Day. Real-life horror stories in 3 minutes or less. In this week's TikTok, we chat with a content creator sharing true crime stories filled with thrills and chills for this spooky season. But first, a look at our top trending stories on abcnews.com.
So much happening these days, it's hard to keep up.
Things change hour by hour, minute by minute.
The historic weather that's now unfolding.
The worries on Wall Street.
We're bringing you the Right Now. But a nationwide teacher shortage.
The Right Now look at the day ahead. An alert this morning for dog owners and the key takeaways from the biggest stories.
World News Now and America This Morning, America's #1 early morning news.
Today does feel a little different. Early mornings on ABC News Live.
Admit it. These days, what you need to know
seems to change just about every day.
What is it that you really want to know, need to know?
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it. Feel smarter.
Feel better.
Feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
It's all about you.
The hottest views in daytime are happening right here.
We talk about things on this show that people don't talk about.
That I can't wait to see.
Honest takes from strong women.
We need all hands on deck, and we need it right now. This is the time to speak out.
Unafraid to get real.
We stick by our points of view.
We're all seeing it differently, and that's the beauty of The View.
And that's why the most watched #1 daytime talk show is The View. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
Elizabeth Holmes found guilty on 4 counts of fraud, facing the possibility of decades in prison. Now, we take you inside the courtroom and behind the scenes. The Dropout, Elizabeth Holmes on Trial. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Now streaming on ABC News Live 2020. True crime, cinematic, real-life drama, stunning, the unthinkable. Follow the clues. The Hunt. True crime 2020. Now streaming on ABC News Live. That smile, Matthew Perry. Now he's ready to tell the story behind that smile.
Secrets kill people like me.
You said that there were 6 friends, and one of them was sick.
Yeah.
Friday night at 8/7 Central on ABC.
The U.S. economy grew at an annual rate of 2.6% in the third quarter, better than economists expected, according to the Gross Domestic Product report out today. This new snapshot of the American economy is a sharp reversal from the last 2 quarters, where the nation's GDP shrunk 1.6% in the first quarter and 0.9% in the second quarter. Consumer spending rose by 0.4%, but was down 0.1% from the previous quarter. Mortgage rates have also more than doubled in the last year, hitting 7.08%, the highest in 2 decades. But inflation, though down from this summer, still averaging 8.2%, near 40-year highs.
Tensions running high in Texas, as for the first time, heartbroken families of the Uvalde school shooting victims come face to face with Colonel Stephen McCraw, the head of the Department of Public Safety, who in the aftermath of the massacre at Robb Elementary, condemned the Uvalde police response. But today, families calling for him to step down, saying DPS officers who also responded to the shooting failed too.
It was 77 minutes that 91 of y'all's officers waited outside while our children were slaughtered.
The hearing marked the first public update from the DPS director since mid-July. Families say it wasn't just about the police response, telling McCraw the aftermath of the shooting, where at times the timeline and details from McCraw tended to change, was just as damaging.
More grim discoveries have been made at Lake Mead. The National Park Service said a diver at the lake recently discovered a human bone, and another dive found more skeletal remains. This is the latest in a line of discoveries at the lake, where the water levels have been dropping due to historic drought in the western U.S. For more on the recent discoveries at the lake, watch the latest edition of Impact Nightline. Officials in Buffalo, New York believe a car crash that killed 4 teens may have been tied to a TikTok challenge. Police said the vehicle involved in the Monday crash on Route 133 was a stolen Kia Sportage, and they believe excessive speed may have been a factor. Police believe the vehicle may have been stolen as part of a viral challenge on TikTok, showing how to quickly steal Kias.
I know Kias are widely publicized. The Kia Challenge, as it's called, they're very easy, unfortunately, to steal.
One other passenger was hospitalized from the crash. The 16-year-old driver was released from the hospital and faces charges.
Prince Harry's memoir is coming out on January 10th. The book will be called Spare and is being billed by publisher Penguin Random House as an account filled with insight, revelation, and raw, unflinching honesty. It was expected this fall, but was delayed after the death of Queen Elizabeth. The publisher says proceeds from the book will be donated to charity.
Congratulations, Commissioner Laura.
Historic appointment today in New York City. 39-year-old Laura Kavanaugh, deputy commissioner in the New York City Fire Department, is now the FDNY commissioner, the first in the department's 157-year history.
This moment, me being first, only matters if I am not the last.
Kavanaugh has a business and government background, no firefighter experience, which is not uncommon for city fire commissioners. She'll head up a $2 billion budget with 17,000 firefighters, paramedics, and civilian staff.
As state election officials grapple with an onslaught of threats to poll workers and a wave of misinformation, this year they're also dealing with a tight supply of a critical voting resource: paper. Federal officials say more than 90% of all of us will vote these midterms, and they will be on paper ballots. But supply chain issues have made the material harder to come by, and some experts say it exposes a key vulnerability. So are we ready? Our Devin Dwyer has more from Phoenix.
At one of the nation's largest ballot printers, it's a final sprint to Election Day.
All the ballots get printed on these machines. They run at 500 feet per minute, so we will move about 20,000 ballots every hour.
Rumbeck Election Services is delivering 50 million midterm ballots across 10 states using 5 million pounds of paper. And this year, there's little room for error.
Capacity has come out of the paper industry. There were lots of paper mills in the U.S. and North America. Those have been closing down or converting over to cardboard boxes. It's more profitable for the mills. It's a very real threat.
Supply chain issues that have jolted the U.S. economy during the pandemic have been hitting election suppliers hard, causing shortages of envelopes, cardstock, and even stickers. Roughly 30 million pounds of paper are needed for a major election year. And experts say the supply crunch exposes a key vulnerability.
And it's not just any kind of paper. Ballots are printed on special heavyweight material like this so that automated vote tabulators can read it.
In a nationwide alert, the U.S. Election Assistance Commission warns state election officials of an unprecedented demand for ballot paper, with very long order lead times and a risk that some urgent last-minute orders this year may not be fulfilled.
We need to make sure that we're paying extra close attention to proofing of all materials, because if there was a typo or is a typo, your vendor might not be able to fill an emergency order in that way.
Members of Congress have also been sounding the alarm, holding urgent hearings on election supply chain risks.
There's that concern that it just won't show up.
There have already been isolated signs of trouble. In January, the paper shortage forced Texas officials to strictly limit printing of voter registration forms. During Pennsylvania's May primary, 2/3 of mail-in ballots in Lancaster County were unreadable by scanner machines because of a printing mistake and had to be processed by hand. And on the day we visited Phoenix, local officials discovered 6,000 ballots had been printed with major errors, requiring a second print and more paper.
We're all just collectively crossing our fingers and hoping that the supply chain works just fine and that we don't have any issues where a county has to, in large scale, purchase a whole bunch of envelopes or a whole bunch of ballots, because that's when it could manifest itself.
The government is so concerned about paper ballot production that the Department of Homeland Security has declared printers like these critical infrastructure.
We went through the process with Homeland Security, CISA, and Department of Commerce to get defense production authorization. So when we put an order in for paper, and Amazon puts an order in for paper, we're going to take precedence over Amazon. And that was to help just to make sure we would have the stock we needed.
With early voting underway in 33 states, election watchdogs say the ballot paper crunch has not yet become a crisis. The Election Assistance Commission telling ABC News it should not impact voting in the general election so far.
This is actually a good example of a success story. And largely, there has been aversion of a major crisis because of that coordination and that communication.
But experts caution Election Day could still bring surprises, and those may be especially consequential at a time when election integrity is already in the spotlight.
It's not realistic to think that the problem is solved. It's not.
What's your message for 2024?
Be prepared. Start planning early. Planning. It's the only way to overcome this.
Hopefully this is a crisis that is or will be averted. Our thanks to Devin for that. And we turn our eyes now to the Sunshine State, where Representative Val Demings is trying to punch her ticket to the U.S. Senate. It comes as some say Florida is shifting from a reliable battleground to a red state, but Demings maintains a Democrat not only can, but will win there. We got a chance to go along for a ride with her as she races toward November in a contest that could ultimately help Democrats keep control of the Senate.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. I have not ridden a bike in I don't know how long.
It's fitting that it's called an election cycle. Congresswoman Val Demings is prepared to ride till the wheels fall off, keenly aware that in order to stay balanced on a bike, you must keep moving.
They say, you never forget how to ride a bike. Okay, there we go. Now I'm good. Now I'm good.
We met up with the former police chief in Bill Frederick Park in Orlando.
Okay, Snake.
Oh, whoa. Welcome to Florida.
A city where she once served as the first female police chief, currently governs as Congresswoman, and is now a Senate hopeful.
Not many candidates for Senate ride a motorcycle, a Harley Davidson, no less. Tell me about your interest in biking in the real sense.
When I transferred to the Special Operations Division at the police department, I didn't have to learn how to ride, but I did. I love it because you get on the back roads of Florida and it's just peaceful and you get to experience stuff you never experienced in a car.
From social worker to top cop to Congresswoman, perspective is the message this wife, mother of 3 and grandmother of 5, hopes will resonate with voters.
Tell me how your 27 years on the streets in Orlando as a police officer, as a police chief, how that informs you as a politician.
I've seen people at their worst and I've seen people at their best. And I have a really clear understanding of how people find themselves in the circumstances they're in the first place. I can remember being told I was the wrong color, the wrong gender, I probably wouldn't amount to much, and only because of where I live in the greatest nation in the world have I had the opportunities that I have. And I really do believe that too many people feel like the American dream is out of reach.
Why decide to run? I mean, you're a well-respected congresswoman. Why run for the upper chamber, as they call it?
Lindsay, our nation is in trouble right now. I just want to create better opportunities for others. It's worth the run for me. It is worth the risk for me.
Despite narrowing polls, it's an uphill battle for Demings as Democrats look to flip a Republican seat in the increasingly cherry-red state of Florida. Donald Trump won here twice, and it's been a decade since Florida voters sent a Democrat to the Senate, more than 2 decades since Florida had a Democrat for governor.
Denying the right to buy it is not going to keep them from doing
In her only debate against her opponent, Senator Marco Rubio, Demings didn't pull any punches, capitalizing after Rubio appeared to flip-flop about a pledge he made regarding gun restrictions in the aftermath of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School shooting.
I want to make sure that I understand that what you said in 2018 is not what you believe is the solution today.
I do
there should
not
not be
believe
a
that
ban on
that is-
18 or 19 or
Well,
20-year-olds
a
buying
15-year-old
rifles.
just got a gun, got a shotgun.
But
and
that's
killed a
one
bunch of
case.
people.
I just want to make
no,
sure
it's
that
more
you-
than one case.
Our primary responsibility is the safety of Floridians. And Senator, 24 years in elected office, and you have not yet risen to that occasion. And then when asked about it, you say something that makes no sense.
Despite her 27 years in law enforcement, several unions representing Florida police, including her own former department, recently endorsed Senator Rubio.
How did that happen? When you are the
You know
police?
what? I think it's politics. But what I found is my opponent and too many other people try to use fear. You know, she's not with you because she's a Democrat. I am the police chief who brought the community and the department together to reduce violent crime by over 40%.
What is the #1 concern of Florida voters?
Cost. I sit here as the daughter of a maid and a janitor. I've struggled in my own life. I remember graduating from Florida State, saddled with college debt. We have an affordable housing crisis in Florida. People are worried about keeping a roof over their head, keeping the lights on.
This thing is a beast of a hurricane.
The wind is just ripping.
The surge starting to take over the pool here at our hotel.
Last month, Hurricane Ian only made matters worse.
We saw significant flooding during Hurricane Ian in Central Florida, my home, and certainly in Southwest Florida.
When we talk about climate change, what are your thoughts about what Florida might look like in the future if the superstorms continue?
Climate change is real. We cannot say that climate change causes hurricanes, but certainly global warming, the warming of ocean waters, will cause the storms to be more intense and create a situation where they can do more devastation and damage.
President Biden was supposed to campaign in Florida ahead of the hurricane. Demings had not committed to appearing with him. With his low approval ratings, it's something other Senate hopefuls have had to grapple with.
Have you been putting some distance between yourself and Biden?
I had responsibilities and duties with the Congressional Black Caucus, and then the president announces that he's coming to Orlando. I chose to fulfill those duties, but then got stuck in Florida because of Hurricane Ian. I was where I needed to be. So to even suggest that I'm trying to put distance between myself and the president, I think it's ridiculous.
That event has since been rescheduled, and Demings has committed to attend.
Will you support Biden for 4 more years?
If President Biden runs again, I will support him for 4 more years.
If elected, you would be the only active black woman in the Senate, only the 3rd ever in American history. I know you've talked before about how sometimes the stereotypes influence the ideas of what a black woman can or can't do. How so?
I remember when I was appointed police chief, people would approach me on the street, men, but many of them women, who would say to me, "Congratulations. Now, you know that's a big job." I said, "It's always been a big job. The job didn't get any bigger because a woman's now in it."
First thing that comes to mind, your greatest strength?
Fearless.
Biggest weakness?
My grandchildren.
Some have suggested Florida is no longer a battleground state and not worth the time or money. But Demings has raised more than $64 million so far and remains hopeful that her grit, determination, and experience will all help her get across the finish line first in the race to November.
You're among the top as far as the money that you've raised. Born and raised here in Florida. If you can't win, is it possible for any Democrat to win a Senate in Florida?
Surely, any person, whether you're a white person in rural North Florida or you're a black girl who grew up poor, regardless of your circumstances, you can win in Florida.
We turn now to our weekly segment, TikTok, where we take a closer look at the story behind the sensation. It is spooky season, a time filled with carving pumpkins, dressing up in costumes, and watching reruns of Halloween movies. Right now, true crime content creators are dominating TikTok with their spine-chilling stories. Marianne Nafsu is no stranger to downright scary posts. She's racked up more than 3 million followers by sharing true story crimes, dark tales, and mysteries. Marianne, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start right at the beginning. What piqued your interest in true crime stories, and why did you feel compelled to share them on TikTok?
I've always been interested in true crime from when I was younger. And once my following grew at a peak, I noticed that a lot of people who were following me were interested in the same thing. So I decided to start sharing true life stories on there.
And the true crime community on the app continues to grow by the second. The hashtag True Crime Community has more than 3.7 billion views. What is about these hair-raising stories that people are so drawn to?
I think a lot of it has to do with the safety awareness that comes along with true crime and just sharing victim stories and really digging deep into a serial killer's mind, the psychology behind it all. And I think that's what draws everyone into it.
What drew you into it?
The same concept of just trying to learn the psychology behind a serial killer. And I've always been into horror films and really dark mystery stories. When I got a little older and I learned that true crime stories is literally about real life victims and real families, then it was always something that was very mind-blowing, and I always felt a need to help them out in some way, but I had no clue on how to do that.
And you really invest time in learning about murder cases. How much time would you say that you spend researching serial killers and their stories in order to ensure that your audience is presented with the most accurate facts?
Oh, it depends. It depends on what case it is. If it's a case that's not really mentioned a lot in the media, it takes a little longer because I'm constantly trying to dig up information that isn't out there, and it makes it a little harder. Now, if it's something about a crime case that has been all over the news, or it's constantly talked about, or there's a trending show about it, then it makes it a little easier. But it takes a couple weeks to a few months sometimes.
And you say that you also make a conscious effort not to glorify these violent acts. How do you manage being entertaining without encouraging them?
Well, that's the tricky part right there, because true crime does come off as an entertaining thing, but I try to show my audience that at the end of the day, this is a real family that we're talking about. It's a real victim. It's someone's sibling. It's someone's daughter, someone's son. And we need to make sure, we need to show the importance of that.
And you've collaborated with shows like 2020, sharing true crime stories. Appears to be a passion project for you, really. Where do you hope that this kind of storytelling ultimately leads you?
Hopefully to bigger and better things.
Like what? What would that be, for example?
Well, I've already landed a few shows and a few huge movie networks with advertising, like their thriller shows or any kind of true crime shows. So I would love to pick up a few more movies, thriller movies, and maybe even end up on a documentary.
And just because we are in the season and the spirit of Halloween, doing all of the digging in a scary, serial killer sense, does it ever keep you up at night? Does it ever kind of spook you?
It does. It does that to me a lot, and I do have to take a break. Sometimes I have to take a step back away from it. I'll go a couple weeks without posting anything, and then once my mind is back there again, then I'll come on and I'll start releasing more video, more content.
Yeah, I imagine it would spook you from time to time. Marianne Nafsu, we thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you coming on the show. Happy Halloween.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy Halloween.
And before we go tonight, the image of the day. Across the northern half of our country and in places like Canada, pictured here, fall foliage is in full effect, and what a beautiful sight. It has been said, no spring nor summer beauty hath such grace as I have seen in one autumnal face. Ah, October, it is truly the golden time of year. And that's our show for tonight. For this hour, stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Coming up in the next hour, Matthew Perry sits down with Diane Sawyer for a revealing interview you do not want to miss. It's part of a must-watch 2020, but we have an in-depth sneak peek coming up. Plus, the major same-sex marriage victory in one nation. Stay with us.
so much at stake in our world right now, we wanted to thank you for your trust and for making ABC News America's #1 news.
And thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
You couldn't write this stuff.
You know, I think this has never been done on Hulu before. New episodes drop every Thursday.
I'm excited.
This is Impact by Nightline.
You never know what you're going to get on this show. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yes, Whoopi! This mic on? Can you hear me out there?
Behind the scenes is always a better show.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what people don't see during the commercial breaks.
Right, they don't.
What happened?
I had no idea really what I was getting myself into.
That day that we walked out, I treasure that day. I couldn't sit there.
You're doing good, Joy. You're doing good.
Oh, yeah, baby. It was crazy.
Behind the Table. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
From the giant sequoias to the waterfalls, it's an amazing place. But in Yosemite, criminals go on vacation too. A park ranger found partial human remains. It was a human hand. That opened the possibility of suspects.
Henry Lee Lucas.
Carrie Stainer.
Donald Gibson.
Any of them could have done it.
We're going to figure this thing out.
Wild Crime, Season 2, Murder in Yosemite. Now streaming only on Hulu.
Admit it. These days, what you need to know
Seems to change just about every day.
What is it that you really want to know, need to know,
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it? Feel smarter.
feel better.
Feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
It's all about you.
Hi there, I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We're monitoring several developments here at ABC News at this hour. A union representing 6,000 rail workers says its members have voted against ratifying the tentative agreement brokered in September. This is the second union to reject the White House negotiated deal, elevating the likelihood of a nationwide strike. A work stoppage could paralyze the nation's supply chain and transportation rail service. Several more unions, including the nation's largest, are expected to vote in the coming weeks. Phoenix police arrested a suspect in the burglary of Democratic Arizona gubernatorial candidate Katie Hobbs's campaign headquarters. The 36-year-old was already in custody on unrelated robbery charges. Police say they have recovered the items stolen from Hobbs's office. And a really tragic story out of Chicago. Tonight, a 7-year-old boy was getting ready for bed when a stray bullet went through the window and hit him in the stomach. The boy later died in the hospital. Police believe no one in the home was actually the intended target. They found shell casings in an alley behind the house and are now calling for the gunman to come forward. A brazen bus hijacking in the middle of morning rush hour in New York City, and the driver who is being hailed as a hero as he prioritized his passengers' safety. Stephanie Ramos reports tonight from Queens, New York.
Tonight, a terrifying morning commute in New York City. A city bus hijacked for more than a mile before crashing in Queens.
A male is on the Q4 bus with a gun and the bus driver.
It appears that the individual stopped the bus and at some point pulled out a firearm toward the bus driver.
Police say that gun, seen here, appeared to be a BB gun. As many as 25 passengers were on the bus at the time. But when the suspect boarded, the quick-thinking driver opening all the doors, allowing everyone to immediately escape.
He did not move the bus until everyone was off that bus.
Once on the bus, the male made statements that he was being chased and directed the bus driver to continue driving.
According to police, the suspect sitting directly behind the driver. The bus, captured here on surveillance video, traveling for more than 30 blocks. The driver then jumping out of the window. Police say it appears the suspect took control of the bus before it crashed into a utility pole shortly thereafter.
We heard an explosion in front of the school, so we panicked. Fire, black smoke, and everyone came out.
Hundreds of customers losing power. This video showing the moment police took the suspect into custody.
Such a scary story there. Our thanks to Stephanie for that. Admissions at children's hospitals are surging across the country as what the American Academy of Pediatrics calls a perfect storm of viruses takes hold. 3/4 of the nation's pediatric hospital beds are now full. 9 states and Washington, D.C. are already above 80% capacity. Another 5 states are above 90%. That includes Texas. More than 40 children are hospitalized with the virus RSV at Texas Children's Hospital in Houston. And that's where our Whit Johnson is tonight.
Inside Texas Children's in Houston, the country's largest pediatric hospital, tonight doctors are grappling with a surge in patients as the virus season makes an early impact.
What worries me is the fact that we're seeing flu increase. That's my biggest worry right now. We have a lot of kids admitted right now with RSV. That's our concern, is what does that look like 2 weeks down, a week down the road?
More than 40 children are hospitalized here with the virus RSV, at least 10 in the ICU. Baby Lily, just 5 weeks old, is now on oxygen for a 3rd day.
You know, you feel so helpless. You don't really know how to help them.
Her mother, Rebecca Lara, says the whole family got sick last week, all 5 kids and the parents. But Lily was struggling with RSV and quickly getting worse.
It was kind of like a choking cough, so she was going in and out of breathing, and
that must have been so terrifying.
It was, you know, because you can't really do anything. It was so bad, I said, call the ambulance.
Texas is among 5 states where pediatric hospital beds are topping 90% capacity. Another 9 states are above 80%, the highest levels seen in 2 years, as a wave of respiratory viruses hits children hard.
It's really kind of a perfect storm of all of these germs coming together at once instead of their normal, organized, seasonal pattern.
A growing number of hospitals warning of the strain. The ER at Seattle Children's running at 200% capacity. And some kids are getting infected with more than one virus. In Ohio, Wilder Jackson was hit with the flu, then 3 other respiratory viruses, landing him in the hospital for 4 days.
The fever spiked to 105, and he started actually hallucinating. He would look at like spots on the ceiling and just start freaking out and crying.
Wilder was able to get the last open bed at Dayton Children's Hospital.
I was supposed to originally land on that.
Our thanks to Whit Johnson. Now to the economy, and a new report showing the U.S. economy grew at an annual rate of 2.6% in the 3rd quarter. That is better than expected and comes after 2 quarters of shrinking growth and provides more evidence that the economy is not currently in a recession. President Biden touted those numbers today, just 12 days ahead of the midterms. Take a listen.
Today, the GDP results came out, and the economy, in fact, is growing. So economic growth is up, the price of inflation is down, real incomes are up, and the price of gas is down. Folks, continue to
let's bring in ABC's Terry Moran in Washington for us. Terry, the president clearly happy about those numbers. Could this give Democrats a boost with less than 2 weeks to go until Election Day?
It could, Lindsay, but it is tough, in part because the economy's not numbers, it's people's lives, of course, and the president himself acknowledged that today, saying he knows life is, quote, still tough for a lot of people. And then there's the fact that for months, voters have been telling pollsters that the inflation and the economy are their top issues. But Democrats have been investing heavily in putting out a message on abortion and on threats to democracy. That has been a controversial strategy in the party, the idea being perhaps that those economic headwinds are so tough that the Democrats should rally their base with these other issues. A lot of Democrats have not liked that approach, but President Biden today putting this good economic news front and center in the midterms, and it is good news, as you point out, historically low unemployment. And for now, this bounce back in economic growth. But any veteran politician will tell you that it is very tough to change the direction of an argument in an election at this late date, especially on an issue that the Democrats have been mostly trying to avoid. Lindsay?
It is late in the game for sure. Terry Moran at the White House tonight. Thanks so much, Terry. Beloved Friends star Matthew Perry sat down with our Diane Sawyer for an incredibly honest and raw interview about his new memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. That big terrible thing being his hard-fought battle with addiction. Take a look.
A home in Los Angeles. The door opens.
Mom?
Oh, it's Diane Sawyer.
Oh, is that Matthew Perry? Really wonderful to see you.
Please come in.
Matthew Perry is 53 years old, but he knows most of us will always remember when we first saw him. One of those 6 young friends creating a new kind of funny, a new kind of family.
Okay, who wants light cheese and who wants dark cheese?
Chandler Bing, played by an actor who was effortlessly so fast and original.
Someone at work ate my sandwich.
Well, what did the police say?
And now it seems impossible that all those years ago when we were laughing, we never knew that the young star was fighting for his life in a riptide of addiction. It was pulling him to hell and back over and over again, and he was trying to keep it a secret from everyone.
Secrets kill you. Secrets kill people like me.
Now, Matthew Perry has put those secrets on the pages of a book. It is dedicated to other sufferers who, like him, might need help.
It was important to me to do something that would help people.
You sure know how to make people fasten their seatbelts.
Oh, good. Thanks. I'm glad you read it.
Matthew Perry, take 1.
Friends, lovers, and the big, terrible thing. You start with a thunderclap. First page. Hi, my name is Matthew, although you may know me by another name. My friends call me Maddie, and I should be dead.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
You say, addiction, the big, terrible thing, is far too powerful for anyone to defeat alone. But together, one day at a time, we can beat it down.
Yeah. Your disease is just outside, just doing one-arm push-ups, just waiting for you, waiting to get you alone. Because alone, you lose to the disease. And now I finally feel okay and feel like I've got some strength.
What does it mean to feel okay?
It means that I've developed some safety nets around this. You know, for some reason, it's obviously because I was on Friends, more people will listen to me. So I've got to take advantage of that. I've got to help as many people as I can.
We've all learned it's not ours to ask someone in recovery how long they've been sober. That's a personal road. But he says it's why he's written the harrowing details of his journey through alcohol, all those drugs, and the fight to break free. I want to just do it by the numbers because you're sending postcards from hell to everyone out there who needs it. 6,000 AA meetings, therapy 30 years, 15 rehabs, maybe at least. Half of your life in treatment or in sober living houses. He has been in detox, he estimates, 65 times, survived 14 surgeries after a nearly fatal emergency 3 years ago.
They ran me into the emergency trauma room, and it was in there that my colon exploded. Well, I was put on an ECMO machine. And an ECMO machine, when you talk to any doctor, is a Hail Mary, is the last thing that you do before people die. And there were 5 people that night that were put on ECMO machine, and I was the only one who survived.
He was in a coma for 14 days. As he heals from all he's been through, there's still wear and tear on his voice and speech, and the scars on his body like a warrior back from battle.
I was in that hospital for 5 months and, escaped death really narrowly.
Perry says he's proof that addiction can enter any home, any heart. If you try to map the fault lines underneath an addiction, you often find unanswerable questions. Perry says he does remember the day he thought he had found an answer. He's 14 with his Canadian pals and a common teenage rite of passage.
I'd never drank before, and I just sort of drank this entire bottle of what was called Anwar's Baby Duck. That was the name of the wine. And I lay in the grass and just was in heaven. And I thought to myself, this must be the way that normal people feel all the time. And I thought that at 14.
His friends could drink and stop. But for him, the relief was so easy it became his destination.
But, by the time I was 18, I was drinking every day.
It's a pattern he continues, even after landing a starring role in a show that was then called Friends Like Us. He hopes fame will fill up the hole inside, but it doesn't.
And that was a dark day for me when I realized that it did not do that it did not fix what I thought was, what I knew was broken.
And now, the added fear of being on a high wire with about 25 million people watching. He says his terror deepens. So does his loneliness and shame.
Alone so I could drink. Drinking, therefore alone. I'd drink, watch the movie, pass out, wake up, drink, watch the movie, pass out.
But you had no trouble with the lines, you had no trouble with the timing, you had no trouble showing up every day?
Early on, yes. And I made a rule that I would never drink or take anything at work. So I would never do that, but I would show up blindly hungover, like shaking and crazy hungover.
But still somehow brilliant on camera, maybe because he's an athlete and young and cares so much.
Well, I loved Chandler. I loved the show, and I also knew, remember this, because it's going to be the best time of your life. And I knew it. I knew that I would never forgive myself if I messed this up.
Lisa Kudrow says Matthew Perry was always the one trying to keep everyone else happy.
Lisa is the funniest, maybe the funniest person I've ever worked with, and just sees the world in a really funny way.
And Jennifer Aniston? They had met years earlier. Perry asked her out on a date. She said no. Let's be friends. You had one of your serial crushes, if I may say.
Yeah, I mean, how can
you really kind of chain crushed.
I did. Well, how can you not have a crush on Jenny and Courtney and Lisa? So it made it kind of difficult to go to work because I had to pretend that I didn't have these.
Yes, you write in the book. I kept wondering, how long can I just look at her?
Yes. I was like, is 3 seconds too long? How long is... And then I write in the gratitude part about her letting me do that.
By the year 2000, he is still the star of the mega-hit TV show, now in its 6th year. But the spiral into prescription drugs has begun.
55 Vicodin a day, which is where I was.
55?
Yeah.
How did you get 55 a day?
Well, I had to wake up and realize that I needed to get 55 of them, or I was going to be really sick. So I did all sorts of things. I had a bunch of doctors, fake migraines, and all that stuff. And I guess the weirdest thing I did was on Sundays, I would go to open houses and go to the bathrooms in the open house and see what pills they had in there and steal them. And I think they thought, well, there's no way that Chandler came in and stole from us.
Our thanks to Diane Sawyer. Watch more of Diane's full sit-down with Matthew Perry tomorrow morning on Good Morning America, and the full interview tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC. And, of course, you can stream it this weekend on Hulu. And still to come, is a possible diplomatic breakthrough being reported in the Middle East? We have the details. And our conversation with Anne Hathaway and Jeremy Strong about an intriguing new project they're both working on. This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
in Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
Here at the White House.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go. We made it.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7 straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Bring them on.
If only there was a place in the morning to start my day. With a smile, somewhere to help me get in the know. A place as spectacular as, well, me.
I think we might know a place, right, guys?
Bring your friends. Oh, wait, there is.
Good morning, America.
GMA, 7A, every day. Boom, boom, boom.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Robin. Good morning, America. How are you?
Boom. Now that's how you start your day, people.
All right, here we go. You ready?
Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yeah. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 12 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
As of today, in a big way, we have inaugurated abcnews.com.
A lot has changed in our world since Peter made that announcement. But what hasn't changed is the commitment to groundbreaking reporting and innovation at abcnews.com. And here's to everything ahead.
Now streaming on ABC News Live 2020. True crime, cinematic, real-life drama, stunning, the unthinkable. Follow the clues. The Hunt. True crime 2020. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
Welcome back. We're tracking several headlines around the world. Israeli and Lebanese leaders signed a landmark agreement on their maritime boundary today. The U.S. brokered agreement marks a diplomatic break from decades of hostility between the two countries. It also opens the way for potential offshore energy exploration, which, if successful, could be a boon to Lebanon's ailing economy. Same-sex marriage is now legal in every state in Mexico. Lawmakers in the final state to lift its ban voted late last night. Mexico's Supreme Court declared state laws preventing same-sex marriage unconstitutional in 2015, but some states have taken years to conform. Supreme Court President Arturo Zaldivar tweeted, "The whole country shines with a huge rainbow. Live the dignity and rights of all people. Love is love." And in Italy, a man grabbed a knife from a supermarket shelf and then stabbed 6 people inside a shopping center near Milan. 1 person was killed and 5 others were wounded. Police arrested a 46-year-old male suspect. Authorities say the motive for the attack is unknown, but they do not suspect terrorism. From acclaimed filmmaker James Gray, Armageddon Time is a deeply personal story about the strength of family and the generational pursuit of the American dream. ABC News' Will Reeves sat down with stars of the film Anne Hathaway and Jeremy Strong, who play husband and wife in this coming-of-age drama.
The United States stands for an idea whose time is now.
Ronald Reagan will win tonight.
What a schmuck.
Armageddon Time, it's a semi-autobiographical film set on the eve of the Reagan presidency from a working-class Jewish family in Queens. It deals with themes of anti-Semitism, racism, nuclear fears, and writ large, it's a commentary on America then and in many ways, America now.
Yeah.
What do you hope to get across to people who see this film and tackle all of those subjects?
Well, you just gave me a gift because people have been saying, what's the film about? And I've been saying the nuclear fears of a nuclear family. I think that I read a description of the film which called it a film about moral regret. And I think that's something that we all have tucked away inside of us in a place that we'd rather not talk about.
I think I want to be an artist when I grow up.
You're gonna be an artist if you want to be. Nothing's gonna stop you.
You're going to college.
He'll have dinner with kings if he plays his cards right.
I really like your stickers.
My stepbrother gave them to me. He's in the Air Force.
That's so cool.
How dare you! I'll menace to you!
Well, you're not to associate with him again.
What do you mean? Why?
I think you know what I mean. I do think that there's real opportunity when a piece of art comes along that allows us to meet together and say, we've all committed this act. How are we going to move forward, and how are we going to learn from it?
I love everything you said about what the movie's about. You know, I think great films put an audience through an experience collectively without ever explicitly stating what a movie is about and without having a message. But the audience experiences collectively a sort of thought balloon over their heads. Yes. And in this case, I think the audience collectively experiences a moment of feeling implicated in all of these things. And we have to ask ourselves the question of, how can we live with more integrity, and how can we be more aware of our own complicity, and how can we be more aware of the injustices and inequalities that are sort of marbled through the system.
Why did you choose to take on such a heavy project?
James is a filmmaker that I've revered for years. I love his body of work. I think he is a serious, filmmaker, and he takes very honest, unflinching looks at his subjects. And I think this is his most personal film. So the challenge to become his father was, you know, the highest bar I could possibly imagine as a challenge, and I'm very drawn to that.
Good morning. Rise and shine and don't be a lug nut.
In the script, he's described as a Jewish Stanley Kowalski with a PhD. And I just remember feeling a sense of how on earth does one do that? And I really wanted to do it for James, given how much he was putting on the line making this film. And you know, everything about the movie, the subjects that it explores, I think are incredibly important in the culture, in society, in this moment in 1980 that also speaks to the moment we're in now.
I sometimes get drawn in by the potential of the thing. It's really exciting when the finished product outstrips what you thought it could be. And I had high expectations for this film based on the fact that it was going to be directed by James Gray, but he just blew my mind. And I was just so honored. I mean, he really is only interested in the highest caliber level of cinema as art. Come here.
Look at you. The young man. First day of the rest of your life.
And the idea that he thought that I was of a caliber to be worthy enough to be in one of his films was very exciting for me. And then the final product, I mean, none of us, we all, you know, knew Banks and Jalen, the two young actors in the film. We knew there was something special about them, but what they do in the film is nothing short of tremendous. I mean, just absolutely extraordinary. And Anthony Hopkins somehow, I mean, this might be my favorite of his performances.
I mean, that alone, just this might be one of Anthony Hopkins' best performances, is a good enough reason for anyone to go see the film. What was the experience working with a legend like Anthony Hopkins?
I guess the wonderful thing is you don't have to work with the legend because he allows you just to work with the man. He's a very sort of egoless, very humble, very grounded, generous-hearted man.
Mother, you know, when we came over here, we didn't have much.
Why'd she come here?
Because they wanted to kill her, that's why. They were soldiers, and sometimes they go out looking for Jews. They hated us then, and they still hate us.
And, you know, we're all kind of the same as actors. We're all on the frontier of our own uncertainty and trying to be honest in a moment-to-moment way. And so it was a gift to get to cross paths with him.
He made me value and appreciate my own brain differently. His spirit is truly, truly present and awe-inspiring, but his mind and the things that his mind can do and the sharpness of it, I think we think of it as something that dulls with age, but he has none of that. His mind is extraordinary.
Well, I appreciate your time talking about this wonderful film, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really
Nice to
appreciate
meet
the
you.
conversation.
Our thanks to Will for that conversation. And still to come, a neighborhood comes together for a street-wide scare, the Disneyland ride that inspired the display.
Brace for the impact.
President Biden, where the fuck are you at?
The impact.
I made an honest mistake.
You couldn't write this stuff.
The power of that.
You know, I think this has never been done on Hulu before.
I'm excited.
New episodes drop every Thursday. This is Impact by Nightline.
Leaving Afghanistan 1 year later, the breaking new event special, streaming free on ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news, and stream on Hulu.
Zoo!
200!
Oh, 200.
200 episodes of Dr. Pol. Music to my ears.
It's been 10 years, and I'm still having fun.
That rocks.
He's got the moves that make your animals groove.
Now we do the dance of joy. Yay.
He's like the Justin Bieber of the
Headlining the hottest barns.
Shout out.
It's a show you won't want to miss.
I'm not going to be here forever. Maybe.
The Incredible Dr. Pole. New episodes Saturdays at 9 on Nat Geo Wild.
Finally tonight, it's always fun when one house goes all out for Halloween, but what about when the entire street gets in on the scaring? Our Rhiannon Alley takes us to a neighborhood south of LA where the spooky displays were all inspired by a ride at Disneyland.
Spirits from the grave, come forth.
Don't you make no dark spirits come out while I'm sitting there. Wait till I leave before the dark spirits come out.
It used to be just one mansion, but thanks to the Stanley family, their entire Southern California neighborhood is now haunted. Michael and Dawn and their neighbors transforming their entire cul-de-sac into the classic Disney ride, The Haunted Mansion. Down to the singing statues.
The singing statues and whatnot. That was more my one. Since I was a little kid, I loved that, and I thought it was so cool. And I recreated those out of styrofoam.
It's a process that began 10 months ago.
We pick a theme by January. We talk to everybody. We kind of debate what we should do, how we should do it, and then we kind of all agree on it and then go from there.
The most difficult part of this year's display? The mansion facade built over the Stanley's home. This year, Lowe's and Home Depot have donated materials to help keep the magic alive. If the SoCal winds don't blow it all away.
They get so strong that I've lost Halloween displays down the street, like a couple times during, every season. So I over-engineer everything and make sure that it's not going anywhere.
Halloween superfans from all over are invited to walk the Stanley Street to take in the spooky sights. Free of charge, but donations to charity are welcome.
I think everybody should find a way to give back any way you can. But for us, we picked the 5th Marines because my dad was a 5th Marine. He was in Vietnam. He's a Purple Heart recipient.
Last year, the family raised thousands of dollars when the theme was Pirates of the Caribbean. One of this year's guests, Bob Gurr, the Disney Imagineer who designed the original Haunted Mansion ride.
I got to take him outside and walk him through each scene and explain how I did it. And he was just like, wow, that's... the light effects there are awesome. Like, that's great. Having that guy come to your house and tell you, great job, is something that just doesn't happen. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
That's probably a fun block to live on. Our thanks to Rhiannon for that. And that's our show for tonight. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Have a great night.
Admit it. These days, what you need to know seems to change.